pots. Now I work 600 for two of us to get a living. They used to work 100 pots, maybe 150 for a three-man crew, which would get them a good wage, 100 pots.
Yeah.
But their pots weren't like to our standards nowadays. We have bigger pots called parlour pots, which we can leave and fill up. In the old days, they used to go and cut like branches, these like branches down off trees, bamboo branches, like stick type.
Yeah.
And they had to bend their own sticks. They did. Place them in, make the wooden bottom for the crab pot themselves. Place the sticks in the crab pot and braid all the crab pots in. Very time-consuming job. And the pots were very strong. If you got any bad weather, they used to smash up easy. And nowadays we have metal crab pots, frames, and they're all wrapped with rubber and rope. And
what do you bait them with? What do you
we bait them with any fish offal we can get. And we use horse mackerel and mackerel. You know, which the horse mackerel and the mackerel attracts the lobsters. The fresher bait, cod heads or anything we can get attracts the crabs.
Where do you get the bait from, the mackerel? Is that locally caught?
Yes, we get fresh mackerel in summer, which is locally caught, but the horse mackerel comes from abroad, like Africa, and it all gets shipped into the UK in bulk.
Have you had any, mishaps, near goes, or?
Yes, I've had a very big mishap. When I was fishing with my dad when I was 17, my dad had just bought a new boat. It was a double-ended beach boat. It was 27 foot. It was a brand spanking new, called Christian James. This boat's called Christian James. We've only been working the boat for 6 weeks. It was over the Christmas period, we were long lining at the time. And it was Boxing Day. We decided to go off on Boxing Day and just work these 8 lines we had left. Get them worked up and then leave the new year. And when the boat's from the cobble landing, lifted up with a box underneath, that's to drain the water out of the plug, what we've chucked in or what's all wooden boats like. We come down and the wooden box had collapsed and it punctured a plank through. So it was pitch black 4 in the morning, we couldn't notice that the plank had gone through. I was 17 at the time, and we basically set off to sea. We got about 1.5 miles out to sea, and the boat just filled up within about 40 seconds. Filled up over the engine and began to sink. So all the electrics was dead, we couldn't get a distress signal out. Everything was just floating. We had to swim back into shore basically. Swim back. It was a good job it was calm. So we set off swimming because the boat had gone down. And my dad used to be a very good swimmer anyway. My dad used to swim to the bellboy for bets when he was when he was a very young man. And I've always been a good swimmer myself. So I set off swimming, and in fact my dad would have been around about a little bit older than me now. My dad would have been about 45, I'm 41 now. And I set off and I was back on the beach really, freezing and I just thought, where is he? You know, so I had to go back out because he got like hypothermia and cramp and he couldn't swim. And he never got all his clothes off, you see. I was down to my long johns and a t-shirt. So I had to go back, swim back out and bring him in. Got him on the beach, and then I had to like resuscitate him, and then go and get an ambulance. And he was very lucky he had hypothermia. Yeah, he had hypothermia and all that.
Was he okay afterwards?
Afterwards, yes. But anyway, we got the boat back. Another boat had gone out and it was collecting air, sinking. And coming back, they'd collected an air pocket, so they just chucked a grappling hook aboard it and dragged it back in, and we had got underneath it, and a great big split all the way down the plank. It opened right up. So that was our close one. Very lucky.
Very lucky, yeah.
Very lucky to swim.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of fishermen over the years who cannot swim.
There's a lot that have gone off here and not come back.
And there's still a lot down there now who can't swim.
Really?
Yes. But it totally saved my life, being able to swim.
I would have thought that would have been a necessity in that, you know.
No. I wouldn't go in a boat if I couldn't swim.
No. Do you have any superstitions?
When I was fishing with Jim Maxby, he used to fish with his father and his brother Dick, and they were proper, we call fishermen from the old days, and they always had different like suspicions, like if you saw a rabbit on a morning, or can't mention certain words like pig or just you can't whistle at sea because it means you're whistling for the wind. Just like you get your red sky at night, it's, you know, so red sky morning is meant to be fisherman's morning, and there's quite a few, but I've never believed a lot of myself, and one for making your own luck.
How do you see the fishing here going in the future?
The fishing at the moment is good. You can get a good living at the moment. You know, the last 5 years has been very good, and I can see it getting better with the fish coming back in winter a little bit now. It's just a very hard game for any young men trying to come into the business.
The cost to set up.
It's the cost to set up. So basically they try all different boats to get their experience where they don't need any gear. But if they like coming into smaller boats and it's half and half with gear, they find it hard to get into the job to buy the gear in the first place, because everything is just so dear to do with it. It costs too much now.
Do you think there's a potential for, like you said, the cod sort of maybe recovering a bit, for long line to maybe come back a bit more?
Hopefully, yes. There's better signs now than there was 5 or 6 years ago.
I mean, environmentally, it's a good way of fishing, isn't it?
Very, very good way of fishing.
Yeah, you get a prime,
you get
fish,
proper fish,
not damaged.
Any small fish, you just take them off the hook,
yeah,
place them back in the water, swim straight to the bottom. There's no dumping of fish, there's no waste. It's a very environmental way of fishing.
What do you feel about trawling? Have you ever tried it yourself?
Yes, I used to go trawling myself out of Scarborough for a short period, and I could never take to the job. I never liked it.
Why was that?
It was just being stuck on a trawler, maybe off the Norwegian sector, in absolutely howling gales for 10 days, you'd be working for 3, 4, 5 hours, maybe getting an hour's sleep, and then you're back up for another 3, 4, 5 hours. It was just constantly non-stop, and there wasn't really any big money in the job. There was for the skippers, the boat owners, but not for the crews.
I think that's right. I think a lot of people got jobs out, but only a few people got really good,
I couldn't take to it. I preferred the inshore fishing. I found it better money, better wages, and more time to yourself.
Do you think fishermen in Filey have traditionally been against trawling, really?
Yeah, they've been against trawling for a lot of years, and different ports have. The trawlers over the years are just more superior now to what they used to be. Fish doesn't stand a chance. If there's any fish anywhere that they know about, within 2 or 3 hours that fish will be gone, guarantee it. Because they're just so sophisticated now. Better gear, nets, better engines for the boats, faster, better winches, everything's just high technology on a trawler. Belong to fishing families, all the cottages. Then when I was about 7, 8 years old, they started developing this little estate over here. Built them as fishermen's houses for fishermen, with the sheds at the back of the houses, for the fishing community. So all these houses were filled with fishermen and fishing families, and we moved down into one off a different estate. We used to live at Scarborough Road in Filey, then we moved down Queen Street here for about 6 years before we moved on somewhere else.
Were any of them curing? Was there any smokehouses?
I think there was one. There was, if I can remember vaguely, where this block of flats is on my left-hand side across the road, there used to be Jenkinson's fish yard. An old fish yard called Bonzo had it. Bonzo Jenk. And he was married to his wife Rose, who had a house across the way there. And I think he used to do a lot of filleting and smoking smoking a fish. But just as I was about 6, 7 years old, I remember the business got wrapped up and they started demolishing it to build these new blocks of flats. So I vaguely remember it just as a child, all the young lads pinching the lead off the roof to sell it. That's what I remember.
When you were with Jim, what used to happen with the catches as to like selling to merchants, or how was that?
We used to fish off Filey in the Crimond, which was his new boat, new cobble, they were very old. And we used to sometimes go and put the boats in Scarborough Harbour from October till Christmas, and we used to go and fish down north, and we used to catch big cods, a lot of it, fishing long lining on sand. Fish used to lay in sand until Christmas, then go back to rock in winter, like after Christmas. So we used to go out with Scarborough for like 3 months, and we used to land it on the market, or we used to land it to a fish merchant called Edward Jenkinson when we brought the boat back, and that's been mainly the fish merchant. In the time before that, there used to be a wagon come from Hull. They used to pile it all into the wagon, everybody, and it all used to go to Hull Market. That was before the local fish merchant set up.
Do you remember anyone from Filey using a wagon to take fish to Manchester?
There's been a few little independent fish merchants who like work for themselves. And they used to like fillet the fish in the sheds, then go hawking it round Manchester and Leeds, Doncaster, door to door. And I think there was 2, 3, 4 of them who had very good businesses.
When's your busiest time now for season?
When's my busiest time? My busiest time is going to be from June till December.
And how many days will you go out then a week?
We'll be going 6 days a week, weather depending.
Yeah.
And we usually have Sundays off, but if we miss a day during the week, we'll go to Sunday.
You usually go out, what, about 6 o'clock, something like that?
In the summer, we go at 4:30.
Right.
We do, and we're usually back in about 11:30, 12. No.
That's great, that. Well, thanks for coming along and sitting down and contributing, because it's nice to get, we called this what we're doing to the last of the line, and really you know what I mean?
I know you can get a lot more information off like all the fishermen,
but it's nice to get the
Jim Axfield lives across the road from me, does Jim and he's got a vast knowledge of Jim.
He's filmed him about 3 times now.
He's got a lot of knowledge, but everything I've learnt off him.
Yeah, I mean, we filmed his brother just about 2 weeks, Dick,
before
he died. Yeah, and he was like, Jim was so grateful that we sort of managed to do that, and we gave him a DVD. Well, what I'll do, I'll make a DVD and I'll give you a copy of this as well.
It's like I was saying to you, if you want to go out in summer, I wouldn't dare take you in this weather.
No,
because it's just atrocious. It's been really bad. But
do I need to get any gear, or?
Basically, I'll take you in the summer.
Yeah.
If you want to go in summer, you just need a jacket on. I'll pick you a nice day.
Right.
You bring a camera. And you can film what we do. There's no problem.
That'd be lovely.
I'll get you a nice day. There's a bit of sunshine and that.
Be good.
You'll have to film everything. We'll be about...
Especially if you're doing some lining.
We'll be about 5:30 until 10:30.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll come over. I mean, I live in New York, but I'll get over for that.
You'd have everything you wanted on camera.
Yeah, it'd be good. I mean,
you'd have all the different areas we'll work.
That'd be super.
What we're catching, when the lobster's out properly, and you'll see properly.
That'd be really good.
Did you ever film? Oh no, it must have been Jim Axfield online or anything.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
We've got a copy of that somewhere.
Yeah, well, I think I'm on that. I actually was with him at the time a lot, because when I was with him long lining, somebody came and filmed us. But he's also been filmed before long lining.
Who else was with you when you went with him? Was it Dick or was it somebody else?
No, it was his son James.
Right.
It was me, James and Jim.
Yeah.
There was.
And James gave up and went into joinery, didn't he? With Dick's son, didn't he?
Richard, yeah.
But I mean, they go back a long way to Filey, actually, 1700s, here, so...
I know. See, I just got dragged into it, really. You know what I mean? It's just, I just took to it. It's more of a close community then in them days. It didn't like it what it is now. Everything was, everybody knew everybody. It was like, everybody was at it. Not just a fisherman. Like for every fisherman that was at sea, there was maybe 4 staff working for that fisherman. So they relied on that money. So basically all of the town was to do with the fishing.
Yeah, because you'd be scaling and baiting up lines and cleaning nets, repairing nets.
Everything.
It's ongoing, isn't it?
The whole of the town was into the game. It's funny, isn't it?
I know a lot of fishermen as well that used to let off their houses in summer for tourists.
Yeah.
And they'd maybe go out and live in the bait shed or convert it. Yeah, Jim Johnson's another one.
That's right.
Flinney, I don't know if you know Flinney.
Yeah, Dad used to go to sea with Flinney and I used to go home a few days and that.
Yeah, there's still a few around. There's still Bill Collin and we all know who's around. And we've filmed Bill and we've been to film Jim and quite a few others, you know. But it was probably really about maybe 20 years too late to get some of the characters, you know.
Yeah, there's Cosmo. There's Cosmo and Flinney. Cosmo and Jimmy Flynn, they were brothers. Well, Cosy died, then Jimmy Flynn died. The old man, he's still alive.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
He's still alive, he's 90 odd.
Yeah, we've been to see him and film him. He's still very bright, you know. He's really with it, you know.
He was an hard bugger, him, like.
Was he?
Yeah. He was one of my mates who used to work for him, like, left school and went with him, and he was top of his game, like, but he's still alive. But it's like a few. It's like Jimmy Bass up the road, you know Jimmy Bass, have you heard of him?
I've heard of him, we haven't spoken to him.
Well, he's a big Filey fisherman. He's still got a boat now, but it's run out of Scarborough, his boat. His boat's called Magic, and Jimmy Jenk runs his boat, another Filey lad. He runs his boat out of Scarborough. But he used to have the cobble Margaret, do you know Margaret?
Yeah.
On them photos, that was his cobble, was that boat, and he used to run that boat for years and years and years.
That was owned by the Cobble Society. I think it's still sort of is, isn't it now? Or
it's Cobble Society. It's now to do with Jimmy Bass anymore.
No.
The original.
No. But does that ever get used now? No.
Maybe once a year. It's just total waste of money. It's been. Best thing they can do is get it wrapped up and sell it, or sell it to someone and donate them. It's a non-charitable.
Get it to.
So they'll have to sell it and donate the money to charity or something. But at least it'd be going back into operation the boat. Because I had £60,000 spent on it. It's
really
a very good boat.
It could be out sort of
earning money for somebody. You know, I was interested in this at the time, and a couple of the other lads were, but because of this organisation, what's going on with it, nobody knows what's happening.
No.
So that's that.
Confusing.
So it's just sat there rotting.
Bit of a shame, isn't it?
Stupid.
Have you got any other